Stan Gibilisco here to talk about an event that will happen to you if you stick with one publisher long enough. I have always been with the same publisher. It started out as Tab Books in Blue Ridge Summit, Pennsylvania when I first began writing. And then it was bought out by McGraw-Hill, which has since morphed into McGraw-Hill Education. And now I write for McGraw-Hill Education. I've had several editors during that time, and when I say my editor, or refer to an editor as my editor, I'm generally referring to the acquisitions editor who has worked with me to hook us up with book projects. Sometimes they'll come to me with an idea, and sometimes I'll come to them with an idea. Keep that in mind, too, that your publisher, if you develop a rapport and a relationship with a single publisher, will eventually come to you and ask you if you want to do this or that, or if you're interested in this or that. That's how the best selling of my books actually came about, was that someone had proposed the work to my editor at Tab Books, and then they changed their mind, decided they didn't want to do it. So my editor came to me and said, "Would you like to do this book?" And I said, "How could I say no?" That book has proven to be the best selling of my books, but sooner or later something's going to happen. You develop a rapport with a particular editor, and then that editor is gone, replaced by someone else. Either they are promoted, or they resign or retire, or sometimes, like in the case of Tab McGraw-Hill, Tab was bought out by McGraw-Hill. Eventually the offices moved from Blue Ridge Summit, Pennsylvania to New York City. A lot of the people in that little town of Blue Ridge Summit, Pennsylvania, which reminds me a lot of my own hometown, by the way, of Leeds, South Dakota. A lot of people in that little town just couldn't cope with the idea of moving to New York City, so they took early retirement or resigned, and then my editor was among them. And I had to develop a rapport, and that was one of the more difficult transitions of my writing career, that particular change in editors. There have been others since. People have been promoted, usually, is what happens, or the company splits off, the offices move, they reshuffle people, whatever may happen. You'll develop a relationship with a particular editor, and then that editor will be gone. Always be an agreeable writer. Don't be a prima donna. That's my advice to you. Be easy to work with, make them love you, do good work, turn it in on time. And when you finally have to get acquainted with a new editor, they'll be ready for you. They'll have been told that you're a good guy to work with. It seems like that's what's happened in my case most of the time. So that's happened again just recently, and things are still rolling along, although with internet piracy of copyrighted works on the ascendant, it's only a question of time, I guess, before publishers, as we know them in the olden days, no longer exist. And I'll talk about other alternatives in other videos. Stan Gibilisco signing off from the black holes of South Dakota, United States of advertising. Until next time, so long.